When you hear the word creativity, what comes to your mind? For most people, it's an artist with a paintbrush, a musician on stage, or maybe even a poet scribbling on a notebook. But let me ask you this. Isn't the engineering student who fixes a broken machine with limited tools creative? Isn't the business student who comes up with a pitch at the last minute creative? And isn't that friend who plans the perfect budget-friendly birthday surprise creative? Here's what I've learned. Creativity is not limited to the arts. Creativity is a way of thinking. It's the ability to see something that others don't and to act on it. And in a world where knowledge is all around us and information is just one Google search away, that ability to think differently is your superpower. My own journey with creativity began as a student, and honestly, not by choice. I was forced to take visual arts as a subject during my IB diploma. At first, I didn't think much of it, but soon I realized something, that creativity was like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. So with each sketch, with each canvas, and with each project, I was unknowingly training that muscle. And then something interesting happened. Creativity stopped being confined to the art room, and it started spilling into other parts of my life. Because years later, when I entered the world of business, I found myself using the exact same approach, not to paint pictures, but to design experiences and create possibilities. I come from a 100-year-old family business legacy. For generations, we've built theme parks, water parks, and large-scale outdoor destinations. That's been our world, entertainment under the open sky. Now, for the first time, we decided to step indoors. And that's how we got Dave & Buster's to India. Now, we weren't just building rides or slides anymore. We were building an entirely new category of entertainment. Most of you might be wondering that she's in the industry of entertainment. So on the surface, it might sound like nothing but fun. Arcades, restaurants, water parks, theme parks, who wouldn't enjoy that, right? But let me tell you this, what most people don't see is that behind all the fun is a series of choices, each one shaping the next. When we got our first location of Dave & Buster's in Bangalore, it wasn't about setting up an arcade or a restaurant. It was about asking a terrifying question. Can we reinvent fun for an entire generation? I still remember the first time I walked into the site. It was a massive blank space, much like an empty canvas. And there was no blueprint, but endless possibilities. We had to figure so many things out. Where should the kitchen go? How many bowling lanes can we fit? We had thousands of games to choose from. What kind of localization do we do? Pricing strategies. There were just too many choices and too much at stake. In the process of building these entertainment hubs, I actually realized 3 very important lessons about creativity. Lesson number 1, creativity is experience design. People don't remember every game they played or every dish they ordered. But what they remember is the feeling you created. So we made sure that we took care of everything, from lighting to plating to guest flow. They were not just designed as activities, but emotions. Lesson number 2, constraints fuel creativity. There were times where machines broke down, layouts had to change overnight, and budgets forced us to rethink. All of these things like rules, restrictions, budgets, they all sound like limits, but in reality, they help us stretch our imagination. because some of the best solutions came when we couldn't do what we wanted, and that pushed us to think differently. Lesson number 3, creativity is collaboration. A lot of people think creativity is one person's genius. In reality, it's dozens of minds coming together. Engineers, marketers, chefs, promoters, everyone. It wasn't my creativity alone, but it was these dozens of minds that came together, each adding their spark until the entire place came alive. I still remember our opening night. We were all very nervous, yet very excited. And I was watching the teams go through each and every single detail. And it felt like we were launching a massive rocket. And as soon as the doors opened, to watch the guests walk in and instantly fall in love with the space, that's what made it all worth it. On one side, I noticed a group of friends. They were playing a game of bowling, and one of them had just bowled a strike. And they were cheering and high-fiving each other like they had just won the championship. On the other side, I noticed a father and a son. They were just watching a game of cricket and enjoying their quality time. That's when I realized that these people weren't here just to pass time. They were here to create memories. Memories that they would remember for a long time. And that's when it struck me that without creativity, all we would have had was a space with some bricks and machines. But with creativity, we had magic. This wasn't the only time creativity reshaped the way I was thinking. Let me tell you a small story about our outdoor parks of a very different kind of situation and what I learned from there. So a few years ago, we opened India's largest amusement park right beside our water park. Now the water park was buzzing with families and kids, but unfortunately, the amusement park wasn't getting the same love. We were all puzzled because it had world-class rides, it had a beautiful design, and everything on paper was perfect. So why weren't people coming? That's when we decided to bring the whole team together, not just from marketing, but everyone from sales, IT, HR. And we did a simple creative exercise. We made a giant mind map. And the core question that we were tackling was, what are the words that come to your mind when you hear amusement park? The answers slowly started pouring in, but the 3 most prominent ones were thrill, scary, extreme. That's when the penny dropped. Our park was meant for kids, families, people of all ages, but the perception outside was that it was only for hardcore thrill seekers. That small creative exercise unveiled a gap. From there, everything changed. We redesigned our communication. We even introduced some indoor family attractions and also launched a campaign called Kids Gone Wild, where we showcased children themselves enjoying these rides. The result was that families who once hesitated started coming in large numbers. The misconception was broken, and it all started with a simple creative tool. Creativity didn't really solve the problem, but it reframed the challenge. Most of us grow up believing that we're not creative, and that creativity only belongs to artists. But here's the truth. Each and every one of you is creative. Creativity isn't about holding a paintbrush. Creativity is about how you solve problems, how you connect ideas, and how you bring new energy. My challenge to you is simple. The next time you face a problem, don't just ask what's the right answer. Ask instead, what's the creative answer? Because knowledge will definitely get you through an exam, but creativity will get you through life. And that's why I believe creativity isn't just an extra skill, it's your superpower in any career and in every part of life. Thank you.